You are listening to Productivity Straight Talk with your host, Amber De La Garza. Amber is a sought-after productivity coach, trainer, speaker, and writer who gives entrepreneurs the straight talk on personal productivity. No BS, fluff, or overused jargon. Just actionable strategies to get results and succeed in business. And here is your host, Amber De La Garza, the Productivity Specialist.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to Productivity Straight Talk. Today is episode 173, Empowering Leadership, the best investment for long-term growth. If you're a business owner who wants to improve your time management and elevate your productivity so you can maximize profits, reduce stress, and make time for what matters most, then you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you joined me today. In today's episode, we are going to dive into how to be an empowering leader so that you can reclaim time by effectively delegating tasks, knowing they'll be executed successfully by others. But before we jump in, I want to invite you to take advantage of a free mini training called Take Back Your Time. This free mini training is for you if you've ever mumbled the words or even shouted out loud, "There's never enough time." I'm going to show you how to reclaim 30 minutes each and every day. You heard me right. Give me 20 minutes to watch this mini training, and I'm going to show you how to reclaim 30 minutes each and every day moving forward. You can grab that for free by going to amberdelagarza.com/take back your time. Again, that's Amber De La Garza, DELAGARZA.com/take back your time. And now let's get to the straight talk. I am looking forward to today's episode. You know, I've had this episode in the queue bucket for a little while, and it was even already titled with a brief outline because along the time I was inspired and I knew I wanted to bring this episode to you. And now is the perfect time to bring it to you because I am right in the middle of hiring someone new on our team. So I thought what I would do is break down my methodology and approach to hiring and empowering others on your team to really take ownership of their role and to build that confidence that you can be really handing over tasks and projects in a way that makes you feel really good as a leader. Because let's be honest, this is the exact area that I help my clients with. But as I'm going through my own hiring process, I get a little nervous too. You're thinking, did I make the right hire? How long will it take to onboard them? Do I really need to slow things down that much? We're in go mode. Look, I hear it. I hear you saying it, but I'm also saying it on the inside too. But what I have going for me when I say it on the inside is a larger perspective on the long-term game plan of why I'm hiring this person on my team, and honestly, why you would be hiring somebody on your team. And this is not a short-term play. All the thoughts that I was just sharing with you are short-term thinking thoughts. But if you think about, you have to go slow to go fast, that's really what we want to do with our new employees. We want to go slow. We want to slow things down. We want to onboard them the way in which that will empower them and set them up for success, for the long-term success of them, but also for us and the business. So that's a win-win-win situation. So as I am getting ready to onboard my new hire, her name is Lacey, and I'm incredibly excited. In fact, as of the timing of this recording, she starts tomorrow. And so over this entire week, since I actually made the job offer and before she's onboarding on her first day, I have been taking so many notes. I just keep a Google Doc open on my computer. And as I'm going through the day, as I'm interacting with clients, when I'm doing my work, as soon as something comes up that I'm like, that's what I need to train her on. That's what I need to give her access to. That's what I want her to know how to do. That's something I want her to work on. Needless to say, this list is really, really long. But what I did was, instead of saying I need to sit down and create the training and onboarding plan as like a task that takes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, or 2 hours, I instead integrated it into my day-to-day for the last 7 to 10 days of work so that I'm being inspired by real activities and real actions that are happening day in and day out in the business that will guide a crafted plan of how I'm going to prioritize onboarding her. Because without a plan of how you are going to onboard someone on your team, you could be setting yourself up for a lot of frustration and being just reactive mode. And maybe you don't plan to have the time set aside to really train them, explain things to them. And so now all they want to do is be a good team member, and you're not giving them the time they need to really learn and get the traction. And all because you didn't want to take the time to plan. So I really want to tell you how important it is to go into onboarding someone with a plan and creating the time and space to dedicate to teaching them. Now, for me, as soon as I offered the position, I went on my calendar and I blocked off a lot of time blocks where it just says training with Lacey, training with Lacey. Now, I don't know if I'm going to need all of it, but after we get going, I can release some of those time blocks. But if I hadn't done that, I could easily be saying yes to all sorts of other things and then be leaving her high and dry without access to me because I'm so busy over here running my business that I'm not available to really set her up for success. So what I would like to share with you is my 5-step process of coaching, training, onboarding someone new onto your team. And you may be asking yourself, wait, before you get to the 5 steps, what's the difference between training and coaching or onboarding? So let me break that down in my way just a little bit. So this may be because I'm a coach at heart, but there is training, which to me is you're telling them what it is that needs to be done and how to do it. So it's really a one-way conversation. I am telling them what is expected and how to complete a project or a task or an activity within the business. However, my goal is to get out of teaching as quickly as possible and move into coaching. And coaching, now this may be because I am a coach and this is my sweet spot and I know how empowering coaching can be. But when my goal is to empower someone new on the team to take ownership over the role, for them to show up their best, to have self-discipline and self-leadership so that I'm not hand-holding, coaching is key. Coaching is asking the right questions after you've filled up their toolbox with the training so that they can learn how to work through situations, activities, and make decisions. And by empowering someone on your team through coaching, gives them the confidence to really show up their best and go above and beyond in their role. You see, sometimes type A personalities, people that want control over everything, tap, tap, tap. I don't know if I'm talking to you, but if this sounds familiar, when we do that and we bring somebody on and we just teach, tell, we're actually teaching them to be dependent on us, that there's only one way to do it and they need to come to us for the how. And for me, as a business owner, one of the biggest gifts someone on my team can give me is not just to execute a task, but to really take the mental bandwidth off of my plate so that I can focus my brain power in another area of my business. And so even if I have somebody on my team doing the doing, but I'm still doing the thinking, I am bottlenecking the growth of my business. And so through coaching and really approaching, bringing somebody on your team and wanting them to own that role, you're giving them permission and through coaching, the confidence to really think for themselves. And if they need to, they can come back and run something by you. So what does this actually look like? When someone comes to you from your team and asks you a question, because you're short on time, because you're on to the next 100 things, do you just answer the question? Because you've got to move on and you've got 100 things going on. So question asked, you answered, problem solved, move on. Or when they come and ask a question, again, after training, do you ask them a question back? Like, well, what do you propose? What are the options? What do you think is the best way of handling this situation? By reflecting and asking a question back to them, you are teaching them to problem solve and, most importantly, come to you with possible solutions. And so what I love to do is hear what are those possible solutions and then say, I think you're on the right track. I think that's a great solution, but there's one other thing that I would consider, and then I fill in the blanks. And by having this two-way conversation, they're getting an insight into your decision-making or why you may make a different decision than they made because you can now explain to them additional context that they may have not known. But when we get into the mode of just tell them, teach them, move on to the next thing, we're not really empowering those on our team to come to us with solutions. So let's dive into the 5 steps. First step, I think it's really, really important to start with the why. So when I am going to teach somebody something on my team, I tell them the why. Like, why does this puzzle piece matter in the big scheme of the business or the big goal of the business or the bigger project? What does this one little piece and why does it matter? And this also has to do with just my own experience because when I was an employee, I wanted to understand the why of everything. Not because I was nosy, but because that's how I was able to really go above and beyond just the thing that I was being told to do, because I could see how it connected with the other dots of other people on the team or the bigger project. And I think that you're going to do something really special by also explaining the why it matters is you're giving some importance to it. It's not just something that gets checked off. It's not just something that doesn't really matter. Look, we're all small business owners. Everything we do in our business, everything our team does in our businesses matters. So tell them why it matters. Why does it matter that you're giving them that particular feedback? Why does it matter you're asking them to do something in a certain way or a certain order? If you can slow down and explain the why, I guarantee that they will be much more likely to adopt it and to follow the additional steps that we're going to go into. Step number 2 is teach them. So now that you've explained the why and how it fits into the puzzle pieces, teach them, slow it down, and actually teach them how to do it. Or provide them the resources to learn how to do it. So on my onboarding plan, I have bulleted out, curate training videos or knowledge-based articles on specific programs that we use frequently in the business. Because that's how I learned it. But how much faster can she learn it if I go in and curate the most important things that she needs to know and put them in the order of, this is what I need you to know first, second, third, go learn it. Now I've multiplied my time. It may take some time to go curate the list, but I'm certainly not showing step by step by step. And no one can really teach something as well as the original creator of the program or product. So what will happen is she'll go and watch or read or research the curated resources that I'm giving her. Then she'll come back with that knowledge, and then I will teach the customization. Like, what are the nuances of how we use the system? What is our internal way of doing things in that program? That will go off much quicker and she will understand much faster because she's got the foundational knowledge that I'm sourcing from someone else to do. All right, so that's step number 2, which is teach. Then I want you to do the task or activity together. Okay, so if that makes sense, like do it together. Have them watch you do it. Step number 4 is supervise them doing it. So it's kind of like teach, show, then have them do it. Everyone learns differently. And you could be telling somebody something, you could have them go read something, but many people learn best after doing it. So what I want you to do is step 2 is teach. Step 3 is do it together with feedback. Step 4 is supervise them doing it with that feedback coaching. And then lastly is step 5 is have them do it. And if need be, provide feedback. Now, you just heard me say feedback multiple times. This is really important. Feedback is the course correction. And if you don't give feedback and jump to, I'll just do it, I'll just fix it, I'll just jump in there and make it right, you're not giving them the opportunity to know what was done incorrectly. And therefore, don't be surprised or frustrated when they do it wrong again in the future. So if there's a theme here, I bet we should count, maybe it's a drinking game, how many times Amber said, slow down. Okay? Slow down. And this is actually the biggest fear of a business owner is having to slow down to bring somebody on. It's an investment. By slowing down, you will go fast. By slowing down and properly onboarding, you will be able to have confidence in delegating tasks, activities, and projects to someone. By slowing down, you're giving that person the best opportunity to be successful. And look, you've already slowed down. Hiring somebody is not a small project. By the time you wrote the job description and published the job posting and went through all of the applications and resumes and then interviewed and then did second interviews and then made the decision, the big decision to pick one person over all the other people that could have been in that role, do yourself a favor, slow down and go through these 5 steps. Number 1, tell them why it matters. Number 2, teach them, tell them how to do it. Number 3, do it together and provide feedback. Number 4, supervise them doing it. Number 5, have them do it by themselves. And the goal is to move them through these steps as quickly as possible. So yes, it's slowing it down because there's 5 steps, but don't get stuck in one step. This is coming from the chronicles of actual one-on-one clients. Do not get them stuck in you just teaching them or doing it together or doing it together or doing it together. You have to have a natural evolution to really empower them. Chances are you're bringing somebody on the team that you wanted the characteristic trait that they own the role. And if they own the role, they probably have a certain personality that doesn't want their hands being held for a really long time. They want to be taught, they want to be coached, they want to be supported, they want to be set up for success, but they also want to try to do it on their own. And lastly, are you open to them making mistakes? This is a question that I ask my clients because oftentimes we do things in the onboarding that makes people feel like it's not okay they make mistakes. That you just expect that they get it fast, and they get it right out of the gate. They will make mistakes. I mean, come on, I'm the one that makes the rules. I've been in my own business since day one, and I still make mistakes. Sometimes I laugh at myself and I'm like, good thing I'm the boss. I think I would fire myself. So we are all humans. We are all people, and people are going to make mistakes. So what is your grace? What is your understanding that mistakes will happen as long as they're coachable, as long as they take ownership, as long as they take personal responsibility and don't keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again? If they keep making the same mistakes over and over again, clearly it's a sign that, well, that's for a whole nother conversation and episode, that they may not be the right fit. But if you go into onboarding someone knowing that they're going to make mistakes, it kind of takes the stress or the elephant out of the room. And now it's all about what do they need to be successful to really, truly support you and your business the best way possible. I have loved having you listen to this episode of Productivity Straight Talk. And I sure hope you found today's episode to be valuable. And whether you're in the midst of hiring, getting ready to hire, or well, you're in business, so you will certainly be hiring in the future, I invite you to use a simple 5-step framework to empower those that you're bringing on your team so that you can truly feel confident about handing over and delegating tasks, activities, and projects to them. No change, no change. Without taking action, nothing will change for you or your business. And as a reminder, make sure you go grab my free Take Back Your Time mini training. And you can get that by tapping the notes section wherever you're listening to this podcast and clicking the link to Take Back Your Time. Or you can just head on over to amberdelagarza.com/Take Back Your Time. So that's my straight talk for you today. Until next time, have a productive week.